Hello everybody, I'm Leo Urrutia and this is Hablo Español como lengua extranjera. So this is our very first video in this channel, and I would like to share with you all my experience learning languages around, traveling around the world, and enjoying life through learning culture and languages, a lot of stuff around. I'm a musician, and so I've been playing around and learning music in Africa, in Middle East, in Europe, in South America. I'm talking to you all the way from Colombia, South America. On this channel, I'm gonna teach you Spanish. So I will give you the best way to learn a language in a very, very, very fun way. And not just learning the language, but also learning cultural things and a lot of stuff you have to deal with when it comes to learning languages. So I will take you from very beginning, from zero to Spanish fluency. This channel is designed to teach you Spanish in a very, very amazing, awesome way. So I will share with you 10 advices. I will give you 10 advices you have to bring into account when you are going to learn any language, especially Spanish. So I made a lot of mistakes when I started learning languages. So I really wish I had people around telling me what to do. When I started learning, YouTube wasn't that popular, so I didn't have a lot of channels or options to go to learn Spanish, to learn Portuguese, but it was my first language, learning my first foreign language. And so it was complicated, but what I learned by reading, watching some videos around, and watching, I remember a Brazilian channel, and it was that way, and finding some people around from Brazil and then practicing, and it was the way. So at some point I got to speak the language because I was kind of cheering with people from Brazil, and then I got fluency on the language, and that was the way I learned English. And then I started learning French, but I quit because something happened, and then I moved to Middle East. I learned Arabic, and it was fun. It was totally fun because I had a way. I already had the way to learn language, and it was enjoyable, and I love learning languages and learning about different cultures, meeting people and doing a lot of things around the world, because that's my life. I love traveling, and probably a lot of you love traveling too, and this is the opportunity to learn how to speak a language. And this time I want to teach you how to speak Spanish. Advice number 1: find your motivation. What do you mean? Finding your motivation is to think about why you are learning the language. So you have to have a special reason why you're learning a language, because sometimes you are going to struggle. If you don't have a strong motivation for learning the language or doing something, you're gonna quit. So in that way, you have to find why you are learning the language. Probably you would like to travel, or you are dreaming of traveling around Latin America, Spain, or any African Spanish speaker country. So, or you love learning languages, or probably you just love learning. And so you have to have a really good and strong motivation for doing languages, for speaking Spanish. Advice number 2: make a plan. Making a plan gives you the sense of being serious about what you are doing. So it kind of forces you to be serious with what you are doing with the language. So if you make a plan, you say every day you're going to sit down at 8 in the morning to study the language. So do it. Your body is going to get accustomed to what you are doing. So at 8 in the morning, your mind is going to remind you, we have to study Spanish. If you make a plan, it gives you the sense of being serious, and you are gonna put it down on the way it has to be. So make a plan. Advice number 3, set a goal. I probably do not have the need of explaining this in a specific way because everybody know what setting a goal is. Make a goal is tell yourself how long you're gonna be studying Spanish to have this level. So you want to go from 0 to fluency. So we say, I'm going to start from now on until 12 months. In 12 months, I'm going to be fluent in Spanish. So your goal is counting from now to 12 months, you are going to be fluent, and your body, your mind is going to get prepared for it. So setting a goal is very important because you get your mind prepared. Like you get psychologically prepared for that, what you are studying. So setting a goal is very important because it helps you to measure everything you are doing. And so it probably keeps you motivated and you keep going. You don't quit that simply because you already are waiting for that end of the timeline you set. Advice number 4. Pick up an accent and get stuck there for a while. What does it mean? You will find a lot of accents around Latin America. So even in the same country, you're gonna find, like in Colombia, you're gonna find accent from the Pacific coast, Atlantic coast, from Bogota, from Medellin, from everywhere you'll find different accents. So it's like when you go to live in a place and you want to learn the language from that place, it's like you got stuck on that accent in the place or the city you are living. So that is very important. So if you pick up an accent and you practice and learn from that accent, at some point you will be able to go around different accents, different countries, and you will understand everything. So pick up an accent. That's very, very important. So if you come to Colombia, you have to pick up an accent because we have many accents inside the country. The same in Mexico, the same in Argentina, the same in Ecuador. So that's very important. Very important. Advice number 5. Listen a lot to Spanish. It is better if you listen to that accent you picked up. I mean, listening to the language is very important because that is like you get immersed in the language. So the way your brain gets used to the language, if you listen a lot to the language and listen and listen and listen all the time. Speaking comes from listening. If you don't listen, you don't speak. The same, if you don't read, you would never write. Reading helps you to write, as listening helps you to speak. Listening is for speaking. So listen a lot to Spanish. Listen, listen, and listen. That's very important. Listen. Advice number 6. Do not memorize single words. Do not memorize verb lists. That is worthless. Work on complete sentences. If you want to learn Spanish, learn complete sentences. Why? Because your brain needs to get in a context. If you say casa, what is casa? Your brain is going to ask you, what is casa? So you say, I live in my house with my family. Like, yo vivo en mi casa con mi familia. I live in my house with my family. So vivo en mi casa con mi familia. So you are learning different things on the same sentence. Vivir, casa, and familia, right? So, and then you have the article con and the possessive my. So your brain is going to file a whole sentence. It's not the sentence, it's going to file an image. So if your brain is filing, is saving an image, so you have the whole sentence there in one image because your brain is going to save or file in context. So learn sentences, never words or single verbs like hablar, comer, jugar, pensar. They are important, but you must learn them in context. Advice number 7. Speak Spanish whenever you get the chance. Speaking the language also gives you the practice. So there is a motto saying, practice makes perfect. If you practice the language you're learning, if you practice Spanish, you will get fluency, you will get confidence. So speaking is very important, not because speaking will teach you how to speak Spanish. Speaking is the way you use what you are achieving. You use what you are listening to. So you use whatever you already have in your mind. So speaking is practice. So whenever you get the chance, speak. Another way is get in front of the mirror and talk to yourself in Spanish. Try to put in context everything you are learning. So speak to yourself. Speak Spanish. And do not be afraid of speaking to yourself. Speak Spanish. Speak Spanish. Speak Spanish. Advice number 8. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Hey, mistakes are very important. Mistakes are part of this journey of learning anything. Mistakes are our best friends. Because if you make mistakes, you realize you're doing something wrong. And doing something wrong is not actually bad. Doing things on the no right way is good because you can realize yourself you're doing something and you will never do it again. So that's very important. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. And if you are in Latin America, Latin American people are very kind. So we are very kind. So we will correct with the correct EU or try to understand what you are saying. Don't be afraid of not saying the things you want to say in a correct way. So just speak. And people will find a way to understand you and help you. Latin American people, Latinos, are very, very happy when they find people trying to learn their language. So you will probably have tons of people trying to teach you Spanish or help you. When you get on this journey of learning Spanish, don't be afraid of making mistakes because mistakes are very important on learning Spanish or any language. Make mistakes, period. Advice number 9. If you are not an autodidactic or self-teaching person, I would advise you to hire a tutor. Why? Because a tutor is going to help you to go through a lot of struggle we have when we are learning languages. So somebody that time to time is sitting with you and correcting you and clarifying a lot of doubts you're going to have about the language. So hiring a tutor is very important because you will feel accompanied or somebody is standing by you on your learning. That's very important. If you have the chance and the opportunity to hire a tutor, is very, very important. It's very helpful. So if you get that chance, do it. Do it because it will help you a lot. A lot, a lot. Advice number 10. Stay positive. Keep the good energy and never, never give up. Smile all the time. Be happy. Learning languages is very fun. And you don't even imagine what happens when you speak more than one language. Bro, your mind changes a lot. The view of life changes completely because you have more possibility to connect with other people around the world. So connecting with people is very important. It makes you happy, literally. So the more languages you learn, the more connected you feel with the world. You feel with people, you feel with different cultures, because every language has a lot of cultures like within. So it's very important to learn languages, to travel, to be free, and you don't even imagine the way you feel inside when you are at least bilingual. So if this is the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, then whatever the language number it is, have fun, enjoy, and be free to move around and say, yo hablo español. So in our next video, we're going to start talking about the foundation of Spanish language. So we're going to talk about alphabet, why we need to learn the alphabet in a very right way, because it makes a lot of sense when you are advanced or you are at least like in a medium. So learning the foundation of the language is very important. Every video probably will have some podcast, or I will give you a package of podcasts you can download and listen to in your phone, and while you're going in the train or the bus, you're making lines from the bank, or whatever you're doing, anything, or probably sitting down, like chilling out, you just listen to Spanish. So I will share with you podcasts, I will give you materials and everything necessary for having a good Spanish level. So keep it up and see you next video. Hablo español como lengua extranjera.
Africana, 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 africana. Africana.